I know your day hasn't been very good. I know because you're here reading these words, searching for something, a sign, a message, maybe just a gentle reminder that you're not alone in whatever you're facing right now. The universe has a peculiar way of guiding us exactly where we need to be, precisely when we need to be there. And right now, this very moment, you were meant to find this message. This isn't coincidence. This is the universe speaking directly to you through me, through this story I'm about to share. Before we dive deep into what I need to tell you today, I want you to do something for me, for yourself, really. I want you to commit to staying until the very end of this story, because the most powerful revelation, the one that might change everything for you, comes in the final moments. And here's what I'm asking from you today. Let's create something beautiful together. If we can reach 100 comments on this video, if you can share where you are in your journey right now, or simply tell me what resonated with you most, we'll keep bringing these messages to more people who need them. The universe works through collective energy, and your engagement, your comment, your presence here matters more than you know. So please subscribe to this channel, because when you do, you're telling the algorithm, you're telling the universe that you want to be first in line for these messages. You want to be remembered, prioritized, lifted up before others. Those who watch until the end, those who engage, those who open their hearts to receive, they're the ones the universe reaches first. So stay with me. Every single word matters. Now, let me tell you about someone whose story might mirror your own. Let me tell you about Sarah, though that's not her real name, because this story is about all of us, really. Sarah woke up one morning with a heaviness in her chest that had become all too familiar. Another day of the same struggles, the same financial worries, the same relationship problems, the same feeling that life was happening to her rather than for her. She dragged herself out of bed, looked at her reflection in the bathroom mirror, and barely recognized the person staring back. When had she become so tired? When had the light in her eyes dimmed to this dull, barely there flicker? She went through her morning routine on autopilot, coffee that tasted like obligation, a shower that couldn't wash away the anxiety, clothes that felt like a costume for a role she no longer wanted to play. Her phone buzzed with notifications, bills due, messages from friends she'd been avoiding, emails about opportunities she felt too exhausted to pursue. Everything felt heavy, weighted, impossible. Sarah had been in this place for months, maybe even years if she was honest with herself. Her relationship had become a source of pain rather than comfort. She and her partner had stopped really seeing each other, stopped having those deep conversations that once lasted until 3 in the morning, stopped touching with intention and affection. They coexisted, shared space, but the connection, that sacred electric thing that had brought them together, had faded into a dim background hum. She'd tried to fix it, tried to communicate, tried to be better, more patient, more understanding. But you can't fix something alone that requires 2 people to build, and the loneliness of being lonely next to someone you love, that's a special kind of heartbreak. Her financial situation wasn't helping matters. Sarah had always been responsible, always paid her bills, always tried to save a little something for emergencies. But life had thrown her curveball after curveball. An unexpected medical expense here, a car repair there, helping out a family member who needed support. One by one, her small cushion of savings had eroded until she was living paycheck to paycheck, constantly calculating whether she could afford groceries and gas, whether that small purchase would tip her into overdraft. The stress was relentless, a low-grade panic that hummed in the background of every moment. She'd lie awake at 3 in the morning, running numbers in her head, trying to figure out how to make it all work, wondering if she'd ever feel financially secure, ever feel like she could breathe without that tightness in her chest. Spiritually, Sarah felt lost. She'd grown up with faith, with a sense that there was something larger than herself guiding things. But somewhere along the way, she'd lost that connection. Or maybe it had been severed by disappointment, by unanswered prayers, by the sheer exhaustion of hoping for things to get better and watching them stay the same or get worse. She felt abandoned by the universe, forgotten, like she'd been placed on some cosmic shelf and left to gather dust, while everyone else got their miracles, their breakthroughs, their moments of divine intervention. Where was her miracle? Where was her breakthrough? Why did it feel like she was shouting into a void with no one and nothing listening? But here's what Sarah didn't know that morning as she stared at her tired reflection. Here's what she couldn't see because she was too close to her own pain, too deep in the forest to see the path that was forming beneath her feet. The universe hadn't forgotten her, not even for a second. Every single struggle, every single disappointment, every single moment of heartbreak was actually positioning her, preparing her, transforming her into the person she needed to become to receive what was coming. The universe doesn't work on our timeline. It doesn't deliver what we want when we want it. It delivers what we need when we're ready to receive it, when we're ready to hold it without destroying it or letting it destroy us. That particular morning, Sarah made a decision without really realizing she was making it. She decided to take a different route to work. No particular reason, just a sudden impulse to turn left instead of right, to take the long way through the neighborhood she'd always admired but never explored. This small decision, this tiny deviation from her normal pattern, was the universe nudging her, whispering, "Trust me. Follow this." She drove past houses with gardens in full bloom, past a park where children were already playing despite the early hour, past a small coffee shop she'd never noticed before with a hand-painted sign that read, "Bloom where you're planted." Something about that sign stopped her. She pulled over, sat in her car for a moment, and felt something crack open inside her chest. Not breaking, opening, like a seed that had been waiting underground, finally sensing that it was time to push through the soil toward the light. She walked into that coffee shop, ordered something different than her usual plain black coffee, treated herself to a pastry, even though the voice in her head immediately started calculating whether she could afford this small indulgence. As she sat by the window watching the morning unfold, a woman sat down at the table next to her. The woman was older, maybe in her 60s, with kind eyes and a peaceful presence that seemed to emanate from her like warmth from a fire. They made eye contact, shared a small smile, and somehow that simple exchange opened into conversation. The woman introduced herself as Grace. "Like the thing we all need more of," she said with a gentle laugh. They talked about small things at first, the weather, the delicious pastries, the charming atmosphere of the coffee shop. But then, in that way that meaningful conversations have of deepening when you least expect them, they started talking about real things, life things, hard things. Sarah found herself opening up to this stranger in a way she hadn't opened up to anyone in months. She talked about feeling stuck, about the relationship that was dying by inches, about the financial stress that kept her awake at night, about feeling disconnected from any sense of purpose or meaning. And Grace listened. Really listened. Not with that polite, waiting for her turn to talk kind of listening, but with full presence, full attention, as if Sarah's words mattered more than anything else in the world at that moment. When Sarah finally finished, when she'd emptied out all the fear and frustration and pain, Grace reached across the small space between their tables and gently touched Sarah's hand. "You want to know what I see when I look at you?" Grace asked. Sarah nodded, unable to speak around the lump in her throat. "I see someone who's right on the edge of a breakthrough. I see someone who the universe is preparing for something beautiful, something transformative. All this struggle, it's not punishment, it's preparation. You're being refined, strengthened, shaped into someone who can handle what's coming. And what's coming is good. So good that if you received it right now, in your current state, you wouldn't be able to hold it. You'd let it slip through your fingers because you wouldn't believe you deserved it, wouldn't trust that it was real." Grace continued, her voice steady and sure. "Your relationship problems? They're teaching you to honor yourself, to recognize your worth, to understand that you can't lose yourself in loving someone else. Either this relationship will transform as you transform, or it will fall away to make room for the love you actually deserve, the kind that sees you, chooses you, celebrates you. Your financial struggles, they're teaching you about true abundance, about the difference between having money and having wealth. Wealth is a consciousness, a way of seeing and being in the world. When you develop that consciousness, money flows more easily, because you're no longer operating from fear and scarcity. You're operating from trust and abundance. And your spiritual disconnection, that's not abandonment. That's an invitation to develop a deeper, more authentic relationship with the divine, with the universe, with the sacred. Sometimes we have to lose the religion we inherited to find the spirituality we need. Sarah felt tears streaming down her face, but they weren't sad tears. They were release tears, recognition tears, the kind that come when someone speaks truth directly into your soul. Grace pulled a small notebook from her purse and wrote something down, then tore out the page and handed it to Sarah. "This is my number," she said, "but more importantly, on the back, I've written down 3 practices that changed my life when I was exactly where you are now. Will you promise me you'll try them? Just for 30 days. Sarah looked at the paper. On the back, in beautiful handwriting, Grace had written, 1. Every morning, before you do anything else, write down 5 things you're grateful for. Not big things, not impressive things, small things. The warmth of your bed, the fact that you have clean water, the way light looks coming through your window. Train your brain to look for good. 2. Every day do one thing that scares you just a little bit. Not terrify you, just uncomfortable you. Send that text. Have that conversation. Try that new thing. Growth lives just outside your comfort zone. 3. Every evening before bed, close your eyes and imagine the life you want in vivid detail. Not just the things, the feelings. What does financial freedom feel like in your body? What does authentic love feel like? What does spiritual connection feel like? Your imagination is a blueprint the universe uses to build your reality. Sarah took that paper home. She put it on her bathroom mirror where she'd see it every morning. And she made a decision. Not a grand, dramatic decision, but a quiet, powerful one. She decided to try. Just try. What did she have to lose? The next morning she woke up with that same heaviness, but she picked up a notebook before she reached for her phone. 5 things. That's all. She wrote, my breath, coffee, that my body works, birds I can hear outside. One more day to figure this out. It felt silly at first, performative, like she was lying to herself. But she did it anyway. The thing about gratitude that most people don't understand is that it's not about denying your problems or pretending everything is fine. It's about training your attention. Your brain has a negativity bias. It's wired to scan for threats, for problems, for dangers. That kept us alive when we were prey animals on the savannah. But it makes us miserable in modern life. Gratitude practice literally rewires your neural pathways, teaches your brain to also scan for good, for beauty, for reasons to hope. It doesn't erase the hard stuff. It just makes sure the hard stuff isn't the only thing you see. So Sarah practiced gratitude. And on day 3, she did something that scared her a little. She had an honest conversation with her partner. Not an attack, not an accusation, just truth. I miss us, she said. I miss feeling connected to you. I don't know how to fix this alone. And I need to know if you want to fix it with me. Her partner looked surprised, then vulnerable, then relieved. I thought you wanted out, they admitted. I thought I was losing you, so I pulled back to protect myself. But I don't want to lose you. I want us to find our way back to each other. It wasn't a miracle cure. One conversation doesn't heal months of disconnection. But it was a start. It was honesty. It was 2 people choosing to try instead of choosing to give up. With her finances, Sarah started doing something different. Instead of avoiding her bank account, too afraid to look at the numbers, she started facing them. She made a simple spreadsheet. Nothing fancy, just tracking what came in and what went out. And something interesting happened. When she actually looked at where her money was going, she found leaks she hadn't noticed, subscriptions she'd forgotten about, habits that cost more than she realized. Small adjustments added up. She also started changing her mindset around money. Instead of, I can't afford that, she started asking, how can I afford that? It's a subtle shift, but it moves you from powerless to creative. She started a side project, something she'd always wanted to try but had told herself she didn't have time for. Just an hour a day. And slowly, money started flowing in from this new stream. Not a lot at first, but enough to breathe a little easier, to rebuild that small cushion. Spiritually, Sarah stopped waiting for some dramatic experience, some burning bush moment that would prove the universe cared about her. She started noticing the small signs, the tiny synchronicities, how she'd think of someone and they'd text, how she'd worry about something and then hear exactly what she needed to hear from a random conversation, how she'd ask for a sign and then see it everywhere, in a song lyric, a billboard, something someone said in passing. She started understanding that the universe speaks in whispers and coincidences, in gentle nudges and opened doors. You have to be paying attention, you have to be present, you have to trust that you're being guided even when you can't see the full path. 3 months after that morning in the coffee shop, Sarah's life looked different. Not perfect. Transformation isn't about perfection, it's about direction. Her relationship had deepened. They were doing the work, going to counseling, learning how to communicate and reconnect. Some days were hard, but they were hard together instead of hard alone. Her financial situation had stabilized. She wasn't rich, but she wasn't drowning anymore. More importantly, she'd stopped living from a place of fear and scarcity. She trusted that there was enough, that she was resourceful, that she could handle what came. And spiritually, she felt held by something larger than herself. Not because her circumstances were perfect, but because she'd learned to see the divine in the everyday, to recognize that she was never alone, never forgotten, always guided. 6 months after that morning, Sarah went back to that coffee shop, hoping to find Grace, to thank her for the gift she'd given. But Grace wasn't there. Sarah asked the barista if she knew her, described her, but the barista looked confused. "I've worked here for 2 years," she said. "I don't think I've ever seen anyone matching that description. Are you sure it was this coffee shop?" Sarah sat down at the same table where she'd had that conversation, holding her coffee, smiling to herself. Maybe Grace had been real. Maybe she'd been an angel. Maybe she'd been the universe itself, taking human form to deliver a message to someone who desperately needed to hear it. Did it matter? The message was real. The transformation was real. The practices had worked. Here's what I need you to understand, what Sarah's story illuminates. The universe hasn't forgotten you. Your struggles aren't evidence that you're being punished or overlooked. They're evidence that you're being prepared. Every hard thing you're facing right now is shaping you, strengthening you, teaching you something you need to know. The financial stress is teaching you resilience and resourcefulness. The relationship pain is teaching you about your worth and what you deserve. The spiritual emptiness is teaching you to develop your own authentic connection to the divine. Nothing is wasted. Nothing is random. Everything is working together to move you toward the life you're meant to live. But here's the thing, and this is crucial. You have to participate in your own transformation. The universe will guide you, will open doors, will send you signs and synchronicities and people exactly when you need them. But you have to walk through the doors. You have to follow the signs. You have to do the work. Gratitude practice isn't just positive thinking, it's rewiring your brain. Facing your fears isn't just about courage, it's about expansion. Imagining your desired future isn't just daydreaming, it's creating an energetic blueprint that reality can follow. These practices work, but only if you actually practice them. If you're in financial struggle right now, I want you to hear this. You are not your bank account. Your worth isn't measured in dollars, and abundance is available to you, but you have to shift from scarcity consciousness to abundance consciousness. Start with gratitude for what you have. Then look honestly at where your money goes. Are you spending from fear or intention? Are you investing in your future or just surviving your present? Ask yourself, how can I create more value? How can I serve more people? Money is simply an exchange of value. When you increase the value you offer, money flows more easily. Start small. A side project, a skill you can monetize, 1 hour a day toward building something that could generate income, and release the stranglehold of fear. Trust that there's enough. Trust that you're resourceful. Trust that the universe wants you to thrive, not just survive. If you're in relationship pain right now, whether you're with someone and feeling alone, or you're single and wondering if you'll ever find love, listen to this. The quality of love you attract is directly proportional to the relationship you have with yourself. If you don't believe you're worthy of deep, authentic, passionate love, you'll accept less. You'll settle for crumbs when you deserve a feast. Start treating yourself the way you want a partner to treat you. Speak kindly to yourself. Honor your needs and boundaries. Do things that make you feel alive and connected to yourself. And if you're in a relationship that's struggling, have the courageous conversations, say the true things, ask for what you need, be willing to be vulnerable, and be willing to let go if the relationship can't grow to meet you where you are. Sometimes love means staying and fighting for it. Sometimes love means releasing it and making space for what's meant for you. If you're feeling spiritually disconnected, if you're wondering where your miracle is, if you feel abandoned by the divine, please hear this. You are so deeply, profoundly loved by the universe. Every single breath you take is proof that you matter, that you have purpose, that you're here for a reason. The universe doesn't make mistakes. You weren't randomly thrown into existence. You were carefully, intentionally created to be exactly who you are, to offer exactly what you offer, to touch the lives you're meant to touch. Your spiritual disconnection isn't abandonment. It's an invitation to go deeper, to develop a relationship with the divine that's authentic to you, not inherited from someone else. Start paying attention to the signs. They're everywhere. The song that plays exactly when you need to hear it. The person who crosses your path with exactly the message you needed. The dream that reveals what you couldn't see in waking life. The universe is constantly communicating with you. You just have to learn its language. And for your peace, for that deep inner calm that feels so elusive when life is hard, peace isn't the absence of problems. It's the presence of trust. It's knowing that you're held, guided, loved by something larger than yourself. It's understanding that even when you can't see the full picture, even when nothing makes sense, there's an intelligence orchestrating things behind the scenes. Peace comes from surrender, not giving up, but releasing the need to control everything. You can't control what happens to you, but you can control how you respond. You can't control other people, but you can control your own boundaries and choices. You can't control the timeline, but you can control your trust and patience. Practice this. When anxiety comes, when fear grips you, place your hand on your heart and breathe deeply. Say to yourself, I am safe, I am guided, I am exactly where I need to be. Repeat it until your nervous system believes it. Sarah's transformation didn't happen because she was special or lucky. It happened because she made a choice. She chose to try. She chose to practice. She chose to believe that things could be different. And slowly, steadily, they became different. Not through one dramatic moment, but through 1,000 small ones. 1,000 mornings of gratitude, 1,000 tiny acts of courage, 1,000 moments of choosing trust over fear. That's how transformation works. Not in lightning bolts, but in small steps taken consistently in the direction of who you want to become. So what about you? What will you choose? Will you stay stuck in the story that nothing changes, that the universe has forgotten you, that your struggles define your future? Or will you choose to believe that you're right on the edge of a breakthrough, that everything you're facing is preparing you for something beautiful, that the universe is conspiring in your favor, even when it doesn't feel like it? I'm not asking you to deny your pain or pretend everything is fine. I'm asking you to hold both truths simultaneously. Life is hard right now and you're being transformed. You're struggling and you're being strengthened. You're in the dark and you're about to emerge into light. This video found you today because you needed this message. The universe knew you needed to hear that you're not forgotten, not abandoned, not alone. You're deeply seen, profoundly loved, carefully guided. Every single thing you're facing has meaning and purpose. Trust the process. Do the practices, take the small steps, and watch how everything begins to shift, not overnight, but steadily. Not all at once, but piece by piece, until one day you'll look back at this moment and realize it was the turning point, the moment when you stopped being a victim of your circumstances and started being a conscious co-creator of your life. Your breakthrough is coming. Your miracle is forming. Your transformation is underway. The universe made this video for you because you matter. Your life matters. Your peace matters. Your joy matters. Your dreams matter. Keep going, keep trying, keep trusting. Everything you need is already on its way to you. You just have to stay open to receive it. Stay willing to do the work. Stay committed to your own transformation. The universe has your back. It always has, and it always will. Now I want to hear from you. I want to know that this message landed where it needed to land. Drop a comment below and tell me which part of this story resonated with you most. Was it the financial piece, the relationship wisdom, the spiritual guidance, or simply the reminder that you're not forgotten? And if you want, tell me from which corner of the world you are watching this video. Your comment matters, and I want to read it and respond to you. For more exciting stories like this, click on the video that appears on your screen right now. And remember, if you subscribe to this channel and watch until the very end, the universe prioritizes you in ways you can't even imagine. The algorithm, which is just the universe in digital form, pushes content to people who engage, who show up, who participate. Be one of those people. Choose to be remembered first. The universe is asking one small thing of you to continue helping you. Leave a motivational comment on this video. Share your energy with this community. Tell us what you're committed to changing, what you're ready to release, what you're calling in. Those who watch everything, who engage fully, are remembered faster and move forward in ways that others don't. So don't just consume this message, participate in it. Be part of this collective energy we're building. We're aiming for 100 comments on this video, and every single one matters. Every single voice counts. Together we create the momentum that allows us to keep bringing you these inspirational stories, these messages from the universe, these reminders that you're loved and guided and never alone. Thank you for being here. Thank you for staying until the end. Thank you for trusting that this message was meant for you, because it was. The universe knows exactly what you need, exactly when you need it. And today, you needed this. Now go forward knowing that you're not walking alone. You never were, and you never will be.